The ship didn't reflect light like conventional vessels. Instead, it seemed to absorb it, appearing as a void against the cosmic canvas. Its hull, composed of experimental metamaterials, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement and their best hope against the Galactic Empire's expansion. Final systems check complete, Admiral. Lieutenant Marcus Way reported from his station. The young officer's fingers danced across holographic displays, monitoring the countless subsystems that made the Phantom unique. Quantum displacement drive is nominal. Gravity well generators are stabilized. Dr. Jasmine Puri, the project's lead scientist, approached with a data tablet. Her traditional sari contrasted with the ultra-modern surroundings of the command center. The metamaterial coding is performing beyond expectations. Our tests show 99.9% absorption of all known Galactic scanning frequencies. The Phantom represented everything the Galactic Empire had dismissed about humanity. Their ability to think laterally, to find solutions in abandoned theories, to turn apparent weaknesses into strengths. While the Galactians pursued ever more powerful energy weapons and shields, humanity had taken a different path. "Show me the core," Naomi ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing the ship's revolutionary heart. Where other vessels carried antimatter reactors or fusion cores, the Phantom housed something far more audacious, a controlled dimensional fold, a pocket of altered spacetime that allowed the ship to partially exist outside normal physics. "The dimensional fold is stable," Jasmine confirmed, pride evident in her voice. "We've essentially created a ship that can slide between realities." The Galactians consider this approach impossible. Their entire technological framework is based on manipulating energy, not spacetime itself. An urgent alert cut through the command center's atmosphere. "Admiral," Captain Thomas Okafor called from communications. "Priority message from Europa Command. Classification: Omega Black." Naomi's pulse quickened. Omega Black meant only one thing. First contact had gone catastrophically wrong. Display. Fleet Commander Jun Park's hologram materialized, his usually composed features tight with concern. "Naomi, the Galactians were playing us. Multiple attacks on our outer colonies. They have some kind of phase shift technology we've never seen. New Mars has fallen. We've lost contact with Ganymede Station." Naomi exchanged glances with Jasmine. "How long do we have?" "Their main fleet will reach Neptune space in 48 hours. The Colonial Defense Force is engaging their advanced elements. But their technology." Jun's image flickered. "It's centuries ahead of what they showed us during the diplomatic exchanges." "Not all of it," Naomi replied, turning back to the viewport. The Phantom hung there, a shadow given form. "We're ready. Not pretty, not conventional, but ready to fight." Jun's relief was visible even through the quantum static. "Can it stand against their fleet? Our conventional ships are being torn apart. They expect energy weapons, shields, and traditional tactics," Naomi explained. "The Phantom doesn't have any of those things. What it does have is the ability to bend reality itself. And a human crew that knows how to think outside every box the Galactians built." "Begin emergency crew boarding," she commanded. "We launch in 4 hours." As the command center erupted into controlled activity, Naomi kept her eyes on the Phantom. The Galactians thought they had calculated every variable, anticipated every possible human response. But they had made a critical mistake. They had assumed humans would follow the same technological path as every other spacefaring race. They hadn't realized that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their refusal to accept limitations, their ability to look at a problem from angles no one else had considered. "They think they're hunting primitive prey," Naomi murmured. "They're about to learn they've stumbled into a predator's territory." The Phantom systems continued their powered-up sequence, each one representing a theory the Galactians had dismissed, a path they had abandoned. In 4 hours, the galaxy would learn why humans had never stopped asking, "What if?" Why they had never stopped exploring the roads not taken, And perhaps most importantly, they would learn why human innovation had always thrived most in the face of impossible odds. The Halixian battle fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their crystalline ships catching Neptune's distant light like deadly jewels. Grand Admiral Kix watched the tactical display, all 6 of their sensory appendages extended in anticipation. The human defense fleet protecting their gas mining operations had already scattered, their primitive vessels no match for Halixian superiority. Curious. First Tactician Ven noted, their bioluminescent patterns pulsing with confusion. The humans are not behaving according to our simulations. Their ships are retreating behind Neptune's rings rather than attempting to engage. They recognize the futility of resistance. Kix replied, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. Begin deployment of the harvester ships. Their mining operations will serve as excellent staging grounds for our next phase of conquest. Aboard the USS Phantom, Admiral Rodriguez watched the alien fleet's approach through sensors that operated on principles the Halixians had never conceived. They still haven't detected us, she noted. Dr. Puri. Dimensional fold is performing beyond specifications, Jasmine reported from her station. We're not just invisible. We technically don't fully exist in their reality. The Phantom is partially phased into a parallel dimension. Lieutenant Wei monitored the tactical displays. The Halixian fleet is deploying in standard attack formation. Their energy shields are at maximum power. A slight smile crossed his face. They're preparing for the wrong kind of fight. All hands, battle stations, Naomi commanded. Prepare for Operation Quantum Ghost. Throughout the massive ship, crews rushed to their positions. Unlike the automated systems of Halixian vessels, the Phantom required human operators for its most crucial functions. The aliens saw this as a weakness. They were about to learn otherwise. Target the lead harvester, Naomi ordered. Initiate dimensional spike on my mark. The Phantom's main weapon was, like everything else about the ship, deceptively simple in principle. It didn't fire energy beams or plasma bolts. Instead, it created a focused point where reality itself became unstable, briefly connecting normal space with the dimensional fold at the ship's core. 3 minutes until optimal range, Captain Okafor reported. The Halixian fleet is activating their phase shift technology. Naomi allowed herself a grim smile. They're preparing for conventional cloaking technology. Execute primary sequence. The Phantom's dimensional drive pulsed, sliding the ship further between realities. To the Halixian fleet, it appeared as if a piece of the void itself had suddenly materialized in their midst. What is that? Kix demanded, their bioluminescence flaring in alarm. How did they? The question was never finished. The Phantom's dimensional spike weapon fired, creating a point where space-time briefly connected with the ship's dimensional fold. For a fraction of a second, a small portion of the massive harvester ship existed in multiple realities simultaneously. The effect was catastrophic. The vessel literally tore itself apart as different sections occupied different dimensions. Its supposedly invincible hull shattered like glass, secondary explosions rippling through its structure as its power cores destabilized. Impossible, Ven shouted. Their weapon. It's not registering on any of our defensive systems. Break formation. Kix commanded, but it was too late. The Phantom was already moving again, its dimensional drive allowing it to slide through space in ways the Halixians had never imagined possible. Launch reality mines, Naomi ordered. Hundreds of small devices deployed from the Phantom's hull, each one a simplified version of the ship's core technology. As they spread through the battlefield, they began creating a web of overlapping dimensional distortions. Their targeting systems are failing, Jasmine reported with satisfaction. They can't get weapons locked through the dimensional fluctuations. The Halixian fleet's energy weapons fired wildly, their beams passing harmlessly through space where the Phantom had been milliseconds before. Their shields, designed to resist energy and kinetic impacts, proved useless against localized tears in the fabric of reality. Send the message, Naomi ordered. Let them understand exactly what they're facing. On every Halixian ship, displays flickered to life with a simple text message in their own language. You thought we were primitive because we never stopped questioning reality. You're about to learn why we never accepted your limitations. The battle for Neptune's space had begun, and the galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their ability to imagine possibilities that other species had never dared to dream. The Grand Halixian Assembly had never convened so rapidly in its 12,000-year history. Representatives from 23 conquered species gathered in their crystalline chamber, their agitation evident in a cacophony of sounds and bioluminescent displays. High Commander Zix, their most decorated military theorist, displayed the battle footage from Neptune's space. The assembled delegates watched in horrified silence as the human vessel defied the laws of physics to destroy a harvester ship worth more than most planetary economies. This cannot be allowed to spread, demanded the Seraxian representative, their photoreceptors pulsing with alarm. If other subjugated species learn that the Halixian fleet can be defeated. Meanwhile, aboard the U.S. Phantom, Admiral Rodriguez was receiving very different reports. Lieutenant Wei's hands flew across his console as data streamed in from across human space. The Halixians are pulling back everywhere, Admiral. They're abandoning forward positions so quickly they're leaving equipment behind. They're not retreating, Dr. Puri observed from her engineering station, where she was analyzing battle data. The dimensional spike weapon exceeded our projections. Their shields might as well have been made of smoke, but... She paused, frowning at her readings. These quantum wake signatures are different. Show me, Naomi ordered. The display shifted, revealing patterns of disturbed spacetime left by the Halixian ships faster-than-light drives. They're deeper, more energetic. They're bringing in their real fleet. The bridge crew fell silent as the implications stank in. They had bloodied the Halixian's nose, but the real fight was just beginning. Admiral, Commander Raj Kumar, head of the Phantom's Quantum Physics Division, rushed onto the bridge. We finished analyzing the debris from the harvester ship. Everything we thought we knew about Halixian technology was wrong. The holographic display shifted, showing microscopic structures within the alien vessel's remains. Their entire technological base, Raj explained, excitement building in his voice, is built on quantum entanglement networks controlled through biocrystal matrices. We thought their crystalline technology was just aesthetic, but it's the foundation of everything they do. Naomi leaned forward, suddenly intensely interested. Explain. Their crystals maintain quantum coherence at a macroscopic scale, Raj continued. It's brilliant, really. Their ships are essentially massive quantum computers, allowing them to manipulate reality at the subatomic level. But there's a critical vulnerability we never considered. Dr. Puri's eyes widened as she understood. The dimensional spikes don't just tear spacetime. They're disrupting their quantum coherence. Exactly, Raj confirmed. Every time we fire our weapon, we're not just damaging their ships physically. We're collapsing their quantum networks, turning their greatest strength into a catastrophic weakness. Can we exploit this further? Naomi asked, her mind already racing with possibilities. Better, Jasmine replied, fingers flying over her console. We can modify our reality minds to create quantum decoherence fields. The more complex their technology, the more vulnerable they'll be. Their own ships will amplify the effect. In the Halixian Assembly, the debate had turned desperate. Deploy the Grand Fleet, High Commander Zix declared. 100,000 ships. Our finest warriors, our most advanced technology. We will show these humans the true might of the Helix. They had no way of knowing that aboard the Phantom, humanity was already preparing a welcome for their armada. Naomi watched as her crew worked, implementing Raj's discoveries with the speed and creativity that had always been humanity's greatest strength. They think this victory was our ultimate achievement, she mused. They don't understand that humans never stop innovating, never stop improving. Every challenge makes us stronger. The quantum decoherence mines will be ready in 8 hours, Jasmine reported. We're calling them reality unravelers now. The entire Helixian fleet will tear itself apart from the quantum level up. Send word to Earth, Naomi commanded. Tell them to begin mass production immediately and notify all human ships in the sector. The real battle is about to begin. And this time, we're taking the fight to them. The void between worlds seemed to shimmer, as if reality itself was anticipating the clash to come. Humanity had revealed their first card, but they had many more yet to play. The Helixians were about to learn why every human child was taught that the best solutions often came from questioning the impossible. In the darkness of space, the Phantom waited, a shadow among shadows, ready to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their ability to turn understanding into innovation, and innovation into revolution. The void between Jupiter and Saturn erupted with light as 100,000 Helixian warships tore through the fabric of space-time. Their crystalline hulls formed perfect geometric patterns, a testament to their technological sophistication and rigid military doctrine. At their center, the Helixian flagship Crystal Dominion dwarfed its escorts, its 100-kilometer-length broadcasting power and authority. High Commander Zix stood on their command deck, all sensory appendages extended to absorb the magnificent sight. Let the humans witness true power, they declared. Signal the fleet to begin the advance. Aboard the USS Phantom, Admiral Rodriguez watched the enemy armada approach. Unlike the Helixians' gleaming display of force, the human response seemed pathetically small. The Phantom hung in space alongside just 500 other ships, vessels pulled from mining operations, retrofitted cargo haulers, and hastily upgraded defense platforms. They're launching long-range scans, Lieutenant Wei reported. Their energy signatures are massive. They're not even trying to hide their capabilities anymore. Why should they? Dr. Puri remarked. Their quantum network is 100 times larger than anything we've faced. The coherence alone must be incredible. And that's exactly why they'll fail, Commander Kumar added, his eyes fixed on the readings from the approaching fleet. The bigger their network, the more catastrophic the collapse will be. Naomi nodded, studying the tactical display. Begin Operation Quantum Cascade. All ships, execute according to plan. The human fleet scattered in apparent panic, their formations breaking apart as the Helixian armada advanced. First Tactician Ven watched with satisfaction as the primitive vessels fled. They finally understand the futility of resistance, they reported to Zix. Shall we begin the harvesting? No, Zix replied, their bioluminescence patterns shifting with suspicion. Something is wrong. Where is their Phantom ship? The one Fat. The question died as alarms screamed across the Helixian fleet. The fleeing human ships had left behind thousands of small objects, the reality unravelers. As one, they activated, creating a web of quantum decoherence that spread through space like ripples in a pond. Quantum coherence failing. Ven shouted as the Crystal Dominion systems began to fluctuate. The network is destabilizing. Impossible, Zix roared. Our technology is perfect. We are the masters of quantum manipulation. You never understood. Naomi's voice came through on all channels as the Phantom materialized in the heart of the Helixian formation. Quantum mechanics isn't about mastery. It's about probability and uncertainty. You tried to force reality to obey your rules. We learned to dance with chaos. The Phantom's dimensional spike weapon fired, not at the ships, but at the space between them. The carefully maintained quantum network that linked the Helixian fleet began to unravel. Ship after ship lost coherence as their crystalline matrices failed to maintain quantum states across dimensional boundaries. All ships, activate your dimensional drives, Naomi commanded. The retrofitted human fleet responded, each vessel using simplified versions of the Phantom's technology to slide partially out of normal spacetime. The effect on the Helixian quantum network was devastating. The coherence cascade is spreading faster than predicted, Jasmine reported, her voice tight with excitement. Their own ships are amplifying the effect. The more they try to compensate with their quantum technology, the worse it gets. On the Crystal Dominion's command deck, Zix watched in horror as their perfect fleet began to tear itself apart. Ships flickered between dimensions, their quantum-based technology unable to cope with existing in multiple states of reality simultaneously. Crystal lattices shattered, power cores imploded, and the mighty warships of the Galactic Empire began to break apart at the quantum level. Full retreat, Zix ordered, but it was too late. The quantum cascade had reached critical mass. The very technology that made their civilization great had become their undoing. Send the final message, Naomi ordered. Throughout the disintegrating Galactic fleet, a final transmission appeared. You built your empire on the assumption that you could control reality. We built our defense on the knowledge that reality is inherently uncontrollable. The only way to win is to embrace the chaos. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the greatest fleet in Galactic history had been reduced to scattered atoms and quantum echoes. The Crystal Dominion itself, pride of the Empire, drifted as a lifeless hulk. Its quantum network collapsed into entropic disorder. Status report, Naomi requested, her voice calm despite the historic moment. Human casualties minimal, Marcus reported. 87% of our fleet reporting ready for continued operations. The quantum cascade effect is stabilizing. But, he paused, checking his readings, the dimensional distortions we created will make this sector of space impossible for quantum-based technology to operate in for at least a century. Good, Naomi replied. Send word to Earth. Tell them the Galactic Empire's advantage is broken. It's time for humanity to show the galaxy a different way forward, not through control and conquest, but through adaptation and innovation. As the human fleet regrouped, preparing to push their advantage, the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter. Humanity had not just won a battle. They had proved that the path to the future didn't lie in imposing order on the universe, but in learning to thrive within its inherent chaos. 3 months after the Battle of the Quantum Cascade, Admiral Naomi Rodriguez stood before the newly formed Galactic Conclave. The Great Hall on neutral Centauri Prime held representatives from both former Galactic subjects and independent species. The USS Phantom hung in orbit above, a silent reminder of how everything had changed. The age of quantum dominance is over, Naomi declared, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. But this isn't about replacing one form of technological supremacy with another. Humanity offers a different path forward. Dr. Jasmine Puri and Commander Raj Kumar stepped forward, activating a holographic display that filled the chamber. It showed the principles behind the dimensional drive technology, but with a crucial difference. All the classified elements had been removed. We're sharing this knowledge freely, Jasmine announced, causing a stir among the delegates. Not the weapons, but the fundamental understanding of how to operate beyond conventional spacetime limitations. Each species can develop this technology in their own way, according to their own cultural and technological frameworks. The Cyraxian representative, their photoreceptors pulsing with interest, spoke first. But without quantum coherence, how can we maintain our current level of civilization? Our worlds depend on quantum-based technology. That's exactly the point, Raj explained, highlighting different sections of the display. We're not asking you to abandon quantum mechanics. We're showing you how to use it in harmony with dimensional physics. The Galactians' mistake wasn't their use of quantum technology. It was their attempt to impose absolute control over quantum states. Lieutenant Wei, now promoted to captain, brought up new data streams. We've already begun working with several former Galactian worlds to adapt their existing technology. The results have been remarkable. By combining quantum principles with dimensional understanding, they've achieved capabilities beyond what either approach could manage alone. In the back of the chamber, a small group of Galactian representatives watched silently. Their once mighty empire had fractured after the battle, but those who had embraced change were slowly rebuilding. Their new ships still incorporated crystalline technology, but now they worked with dimensional variants instead of trying to control it. The universe is not meant to be conquered, Naomi continued. It's meant to be explored, understood, and respected. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology. It was our willingness to question, to adapt, and to imagine new possibilities. The holographic display shifted to show the current state of galactic affairs. Where the Galactic Empire had once dominated through force and technological superiority, a new network of cooperative relationships was emerging. Species that had been enemies for millennia were beginning to work together, sharing their unique perspectives and approaches. The USS Phantom was never meant to be a symbol of human superiority, Naomi explained. It was proof that there's always another way, always another perspective worth considering. Its technology came from questioning assumptions that everyone else took for granted. Dr. Puri stepped forward again. We're establishing the Dimensional Sciences Academy on Europa. All species are welcome to send their scientists, engineers, and theorists. Together, we can explore possibilities that none of us could imagine alone. The chamber erupted in discussion as delegates began to grasp the full implications. This wasn't just a shift in military power. It was a fundamental change in how civilizations could approach the universe itself. There will be challenges ahead, Naomi acknowledged. Change is never easy, and some will resist it. But we've proven that the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or quantum mechanics or even dimensional physics. It's the ability to adapt, to innovate, and to work together. As if to emphasize her point, the Phantom shifted slightly in its orbit, its dimensional drive causing it to briefly exist in multiple realities at once. To the watching delegates, it seemed to shimmer like a dream made real, a reminder that what once seemed impossible could become commonplace with enough imagination and determination. The final vote was nearly unanimous. The Galactic Conclave would move forward with humanity's proposal, establishing a new era of cooperation and shared discovery. The age of empire was over. The age of innovation had begun. Later, aboard the Phantom, Naomi stood at her familiar spot by the viewing window. Earth glowed blue and beautiful below, while the dimensional drive hummed its strange melody throughout the ship. "You know," Jasmine said, joining her at the window, "the Halixians asked me something interesting today. They wanted to know if we had planned this all along, if the Phantom was designed not just to win a war, but to change the way everyone thinks about technology." Naomi smiled. "Tell them the truth. Tell them we designed it to survive, to protect our people. But the best human innovations have always done more than what they were designed for, because we never stop asking, what if?" In the depths of space, reality rippled softly as ships of various species began testing their new dimensional drives for the first time. Each design was different, reflecting the unique perspective of its creators. And in those differences lay the greatest victory of all, proof that the future belonged not to those who sought to control the universe, but to those who dared to dream of new ways to understand it.